We live in a digital age. Over the past 100 years, the development of computer technology has been one of mankind's greatest achievements. The ability to solve difficult mathematical equations and sort large amounts of information, jobs that previously would have taken groups of people hours to achieve, is now possible at the simple press of a button. However, one of the most interesting developments, in my opinion, when it comes to computing technology has been its use in entertainment, whether that be in movies such as special effects, or more important to today's topic, video games. Video games have always been a polarizing topic in the eyes of the public, with some seeing them as wastes of time destroying the minds of our youth, and others seeing them as a vital escape from the stresses of everyday life. A way to be enveloped in a world that is miles different to our own. Over the years, many consoles have hit the market to fulfill this need, whether it be Nintendo's entertainment system or Sony's best-selling PlayStation 2. However, to me, there is only one console that defines my generation, and that is the Xbox 360. Now the development and subsequent release of the Xbox 360 is shrouded in a fair amount of controversy. So today I'm going to tell that story and explain how a little box made of plastic and a couple hundred wires was able to capture the minds and culture of the mid to late 2000s. Before we discuss the Xbox 360 itself, it's important to see what led up to its release. The Xbox 360 was the predecessor to this thing, the original Xbox. It's a tad dusty. But now where did the other 359 Xboxes go? I don't really know. This thing was released in 2001 and was competing with Sony's aforementioned PlayStation 2 and Nintendo's GameCube. It was developed by a small group of computer engineers at Microsoft, and for a first 14 consoles, it didn't do too bad, with 24 million of these bad boys being sold in its lifetime. It was the first console to feature a truly successful online service, a feature which would carry over to the Xbox 360, and its success can largely be attributed to two games, Halo Combat Evolved and its sequel Halo 2. However, in comparison to the PlayStation 2, it was completely blown out of the water, with that selling well over 155 million units. So as early as 2003, Microsoft was already working on the Xbox's replacement, the Xbox 360. The development of the Xbox 360 was shrouded in mystery, with Microsoft teaming up with many notable companies such as IBM and ATI. Security was a key focus during development, due to the fact that the original Xbox was notoriously easy to hack, with many people modifying it to run programs like Linux. There was also a huge focus on improving the controller. See, the original Xbox's controller was a piece of plastic big enough to park a truck on. Even the slim version wasn't much smaller, so extra effort was made to make the Xbox 360's controller one of the best ever made. However, development of the Xbox 360 was a little rushed in order to meet the release date of winter 2005, a decision that would come back to bite Microsoft and cost them dearly. The Xbox 360 was unofficially unveiled to the public on MTV on May 12th of 2005, and as planned, the Xbox 360 released in winter of 2005, and quickly became the hot product of holiday 2005, with Microsoft struggling to keep up with demand for the console. Two versions of the console were available at launch, one for $399 US and one for $299 US, the former being more expensive due to it having more storage. In terms of the games it released with, they were okay. Perfect Dark Zero, Call of Duty 2, and Project Gotham Racing 3, amongst others, as well as arcade games offered through Xbox Live Arcade, and a newly revamped Xbox Live, a paid service that would allow you to play with millions of users around the world, alongside chat to them through voice chat and messages. However, the launch of the Xbox 360 was overshadowed by a large fault in its design, the so-called Red Ring of Death, a technical fault due to overheating, caused by a lack of a strong fan and good ventilation, and was denoted by the distinctive red ring that would occur on the LEDs around the power button. The fault was later found to have affected 48% of all of the original batch of Xbox 360s. Microsoft responded to the backlash by extending any existing warranties from 3 years to 5 years and promised to fix any Xbox 360 that you sent to them. All in all, the entire fiasco is thought to have cost Microsoft in excess of $1 billion. But enough about all the negatives. The Xbox 360 was first and foremost a games console, and in terms of the games I had, there were some pretty good ones. Halo 3 was a follow-up, of course, to Halo 2, and was a hugely anticipated game, with its follow-ups Halo Reach and Halo 4 also appearing on the console. Not as well received as 3, but still solid games. The Gears of War series also made its start here, with 4 entries. The Forza games, gaming's premier racing series, the Crackdown series, Cameo, Fable, the Dead Rising series, all incredibly popular games and series that made the Xbox 360 an absolute hit in its early years. Which begs the question, what about the games later on? Well, the latter part of the Xbox 360's life was heavily surrounded by the Kinect, a motion capture camera launched to compete with Nintendo's Wii. The Kinect would remove the need for a controller, but instead your hands and the rest of your body acting as the controller. The Kinect was a truly revolutionary device, and although similar things had been done before, such as the iToy for Sony's PlayStation 2, it was a truly revolutionary piece of tech. Many games were released to coincide with the Kinect, including Kinect Sports, a competitor to Wii Sports, Kinect Adventures, and Kinect Star Wars. However, the focus on the Kinect in the latter part of the 360's life heavily diverted resources away from core games, a move that angered many Xbox 360 owners and led to a drought in games later on in the 360's life, a move that once again would come back to bite Microsoft and the Xbox brand as a whole. A big part of the Xbox 360 experience was the aforementioned Xbox Live, a service that allowed you to play and chat with millions of others around the world. Parties were the way you could talk to said players, and basically served as conference calls, minus the awkward silence and paper shuffling. Messages could also be sent to other players, both text and voice, and a friends list was also implemented so you could keep track of said players. The entire system was incredibly easy to navigate and was a huge success. Your profile could also be customized, whether it be your username, known as a gamer tag, your profile picture, or your bio. Another key part of the Xbox Live system was achievements. In-game challenges you could complete and gain gamer score, a number which would appear alongside your profile. The entire system, in essence, was Xbox 360's very own social media, allowing players to form friendships with people around the globe and argue with them about who was better, LMFAO or the Black Eyed Peas. The service also included access to an online store where you could buy games digitally, alongside apps like Netflix and YouTube, truly making the Xbox 360 a multimedia device. Over the years, the Xbox 360 received many facelifts, this one to my right being one of them, the Xbox 360S, a major upgrade to the original Xbox 360 that brought in features like built-in Wi-Fi, a much stronger fan, and Kinect support. There was a later model called the Xbox 360E, which looked pretty similar to the Xbox 360's follow-up, the Xbox One. However, it didn't offer much in terms of upgrades and was quickly discontinued. However, one thing that did remain virtually throughout the entire Xbox 360's lifetime was the design of the Xbox 360 controller. This mid-2000s hunk of plastic is often regarded as one of the best controllers ever made. It molds to your hands very well, its thumbsticks are well positioned, and being wireless was a huge bonus. And although not a new thing in gaming, this was the first time it would be implemented out of the box. However, one flaw the Xbox 360 controller did have was its use of AA batteries. Although these things did seem okay, and in fact AA batteries actually had a longer battery life than most rechargeable batteries had at the time, they did soon start to become a bit dated, something that perfectly segues into the end of the Xbox 360. As previously mentioned, the Xbox 360 would be replaced in holiday of 2013 by the Xbox One, and although it is no longer numero uno on the block, the Xbox 360 was still produced up until 2016 when the final batch of Xbox 360s rolled out of the factory doors. Now the Xbox 360 is not truly dead. Xbox Live is still running 17 years on, and a large portion of the Xbox 360's games are playable on newer Xbox consoles. And that is the end of the story of the Xbox 360. However, its legacy in gaming has yet to. The Xbox 360 truly ushered in the era of online gaming, which, although did exist before, was nowhere near as popular until this thing came out. Some of the games released on the platform, such as Halo 3 and Bioshock, are still highly regarded to this day, and the system itself truly cemented Xbox's position in the console market. And that is where the story of this little box with wires ends. To any of you watching, I would like to thank you for doing so, and goodbye.